Perspective. We're joined now live by Jim Wilcox, an economics professor at UC Berkeley. Thank you for the time, Professor. Good to have you on. First off, let me get your sense about what you think the goal is here with this latest round of tariffs. Why do you think the president is particularly focused on these items like furniture, kitchen cabinets, and some prescription drugs?
Well, it's very unlikely that anybody thinks that we're focusing on upholstered furniture or bathroom vanities because of any economic emergency or any national security concern. I suspect that someone got his ear and made the case that a lot of these goods actually are imported, especially from Vietnam and from China. And the president has been keen on restricting imports from those countries in particular.
What do you think the effect of these new tariffs is going to be for average consumers? How do you see them being passed along to all of us?
If they really do remain in effect, it's going to make furniture of all kinds more expensive. It will make remodeling, as your story indicated, more expensive. It's not going to be the case that the manufacturers and the retailers are going to bear all of this burden. They just cannot afford to. It will make things more expensive. But remember, this is yet another of the economic policy storms that have come out of Washington. And though there are often these thunderous announcements and sometimes even some lightning strikes, what tends to happen is pretty quickly the skies begin to calm. The president announces a pause, and then he announces a retreat in how large these tariffs will actually be.
Sure.
And so though there's a lot of wind, in general, I just don't think we're seeing that much rain hit these economies.
Yeah,
I'm glad that it isn't.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of tariffs announced and then sort of pulled back at a later time. But do you think there's a chance that some U.S. companies, particularly in these specific industries, stand to benefit from these tariffs? And more broadly, I guess, are we seeing any indications that we're seeing any sort of increase in U.S. manufacturing as a result of all of the ongoing tariffs?
Well, we have not seen large increases in manufacturing because of the tariffs, but it's certainly going to be the case that to the extent that some of the importing firms are hurt, there are going to be other firms that compete with them that will actually benefit. After all, if your competitor has to raise its price because of this extra tax at the border, the company that operates here in the United States and doesn't pay the tax will benefit. And of course, that's one of the main reasons why the administration is pursuing this policy, is exactly so that things will be more expensive, so that we won't buy them, but instead we'll buy the things that are made here at home.
Yeah. Let me ask you sort of the big picture economic question here and how it all relates to tariffs. Obviously, earlier this month, we finally did see the Fed cut interest rates for the first time since December. How do you see these new tariffs factoring into future decisions coming up about how aggressively we are going to proceed with future rate cuts?
Well, I think this announcement won't have any noticeable effect on the real economy for many months to come. And so it's unlikely that this latest thunderous announcement that we've gotten from the White House is really going to make much, if any, difference to what the Fed's going to do about cutting interest rates over the course of the rest of 2025.
Okay. How much uncertainty does an announcement like this create in the business world for business owners when you don't really have a lot of clarity about when your particular industry may be the focus of tariffs?
Well, I think the business-friendly Trump administration has made life awfully difficult for an awful lot of businesses. These announcements are not very definitive, as I suggested, that there's often this thunder and it looks like there'll be big tariffs, but then the president backs off very often. And that's created a huge amount of uncertainty. If he would announce a tariff and stick with it, then businesses would not have that uncertainty. They would have pain, but not that much uncertainty. But as it is with this yo-yo effect of these tariffs, it's made life awfully difficult. It's awfully difficult for businesses to commit to growth plans, to figure out what to do about how much hiring to do, or even what prices to charge if you don't know if the tariffs are only going to be there for a short time. And so it's a tough time to be in business right now.
Yeah, business owners really just want to kind of know what's coming down the road in front of them. All right, well, these new tariffs, this latest round of tariffs from the Trump administration, expected to take effect coming up October 1st. Jim Wilcox from UC Berkeley, good to have you on. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.